And we are back with coffee. It is Monday morning, last day of FrightFest. There's Jordan, I'm Ian, obviously. And we're just going to talk a bit about a couple of films we didn't get to yesterday. So, do you want to start us off on Saint, George?
Saint. Well, this is a film that I fucking knew nothing about going in. It's a story about an evil Santa. So it's a Christmas movie, but it's playing in August in FrightFest for some odd reason. And it is a Dutch film from a director that I've completely forgot. But it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just nothing. I found myself completely just underwhelmed by it and kind of wanted to fall asleep because I was really tired at the time. So I was like slouching back and just not even reading the subtitles by the end of it.
I mean, and in fairness, I mean, like, you haven't been kind of bored by much this weekend,
really,
have you?
not at all. I think it's been a really solid film festival, to be honest. I've liked nearly everything that I've seen. But I mean, this was just, it had some really good jokes in it, but on a whole, it felt weird. It just felt cut up to pieces. I mean, it felt like massive parts of the film were missing. It was very disjointed. And for me, it had a bit too many characters because they just like, there was a character of the girlfriend that like went away for like 40 minutes and then came back.
At the end, right at the end. Yeah.
And just completely forgot. I just think the script was a little bit muddled and the direction might have been better. But on a whole, it was a 5 out of 10, right down the middle, I'd say.
I mean, I kind of liked what they were doing. It was very knowing with the old copper who was kind of after him. It was just like Donald Pleasance in Halloween or something. But but I mean, like, it's very, very basic. That's all it is, and there's no real surprise to that.
No.
And it just, and I mean, my main problem with the film. My main problem with the film is just that it was missing a third act, frankly. I kind of knew it was going to end because I got the sense that, like, we're about 80 minutes in and it looks like it's wrapping up, but then there's some kind of important stuff that really gets dropped, and it's just like there's kind of like a montage of some sequences on TV towards the end where, like, I suppose an official explanation is given or something. I suppose that's not too bad a spoiler. And it was just like, oh, right, okay, fine. And I mean, the action kind of set piece at the end isn't all that at all. And it just, I mean, the Saint Nick character also never really seemed to do all that much. He was mainly his little assistant. You know, and he was kind of threatening, but, you know, and I mean, also, it just kind of seemed like it was made for like 15-year-olds. Like, there's not all that much gore to it. I think there's some boobs, but I can't actually remember.
There isn't, no?
No, okay, there isn't. And it just kind of feels like it was rather restrained. Like, the Saint Nick character, like, is supposed to basically steal children or something, but you don't really even see too much of that. There's a bit of a threatening bit in a children's ward, but then it just cuts away and it never does anything. It felt incredibly hamstrung by needing to sell to a young audience or something, and it didn't work. I mean, for me, Rare Exports was a far better example of a subversive Christmas tale. And I mean, I think the idea of, like, basically Saint Nick being kind of Michael Myers or something is quite a good idea, but this film doesn't pull it off at all well. And I thought it was a real shame. I'd say probably a 3 or 4 out of 10 for me. I was fairly bored, and I actually said to George beforehand I was going to give it half an hour and then walk out, but, like, I've just kind of had enough of not giving films a chance this weekend. But then again, I think it's been a poor festival, and there hasn't been a hell of a lot I'd recommend at all. So, but what we will recommend is the next film we're going to talk about, which is Joseph Kahn's Detention.
Yes, this is one which it could have went it could have went really either way with this film. It could have been terrible, or it could be awesome. And I think it came out awesome. It has this weird energy to it that keeps it going. And what I like about it is Kahn himself has said it's a film that's made for teenagers today. It very much feels like that in its energy. It's sort of like it's like riddled with ADHD, and it just never lets anything settle for a minute. everything just constantly at your face, and it's hilarious at times. I mean, one thing I'd say is I think the first half is much better than the second half. I think he dealt with the comedy more in the first half, and he tried to explain stuff in the second half.
I liked how batshit it got in the second half.
Definitely, definitely. But I mean, for me, it was a standout. Was the lead girl? I thought she was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
She was great. And I mean, the whole cast. And it felt like a music video director directing a film like a music video director, and it looked stunning.
But not in that kind of Michael Bay, Ratner kind of way.
Just knowing how to use a camera and just using it to its full effect. And again, sort of ADHD, not really staying in one position. It's always moving. It's always either coming towards somebody or whipping past something, or like even stuff with the text on screen and using that will act as like sort of swiping things away. And it's very Scott Pilgrim in that way, but I think it's unique enough to not be like sort of pigeonholed with it.
Yep.
But what I will say is, it's one of the biggest compliments. I don't think I've ever seen a film like it at all, and that is a huge sort of positive thing to say about it and about the director, because I mean the guy, when he came on the Q&A, he's a brainy guy, and he understands what kind of movies he's making, and he understands that even maybe his first film, even he enjoys it, he like what he says, he likes 70% of it, but I mean I would love to see more from him, and he's a good director. His music videos are some of the best around, and if you look at some of the commercials that he's made, you'll realise how much work he's done over the past sort of like 7 to 10 years. It's ridiculous how much this guy's, you see him on TV and things like that, but I absolutely adore Detention. It'll be in my top 5 of the film festival by far. But for me with the festival, I think it's been a lot light-hearted than last year. A lot more laughs. I mean, last year was pretty good movies, but sort of moody and dark.
I remember people cheering more during films last year, though. I will say that. Like, even though Detention got a couple of cheers throughout, actually. And I mean, Gord, the Canadian, is my character of the festival. He is incredible. This Canadian kid. It might run out, but it will save. There's this Canadian kid who kind of like looks and speaks like Eminem, but just kind of comes on the screen every 20 minutes or so and just goes on a diatribe. And there is an amazing bit earlier on where he's having a debate with the lead girl about why, and like in a debate class, about why vegetarians are hypocrites, and it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. But I mean, as well as the ADHD, I mean, I think it's not because he just can't hold the shot, like you say.
It's completely intentional.
Yeah. But I mean, but then again, I mean, you've also got the sequences, like there's a sequence where it kind of goes back in time and it's circling around a detention hall, and it's just like people dressed up in like that year's clothes and like music from that year kind of going past, and I just thought that was really well handled as well. I mean, when he does actually let the camera calm down, he's still good, and I mean it's not subtle in the slightest, and I mean it is a bit of a bash to the head throughout, and I will say there was quite a lot of dialogue I didn't catch, but I almost think that was intentional just because of it. But it was my surprise at the festival so far. I was kind of half expecting to want to walk out, but I had a really fun time with it. It's certainly not perfect, but it's really well worth a watch, and it's one that I think you said to me last night, or maybe it was Brad, that it will look really good on Blu-ray. I think the audio mix will probably be pretty insane as well. But Joseph Kahn, well done, sir. You did well there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just one thing I will say again. What was I going to say? I completely forgot what I was going to say, so it's alright.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was Saint and Detention, and this morning we've got A Night in the Woods, which is a replacement film, replaced Guinea Pigs, and we'll see how that goes, and we should be back with Noel later on as well, I reckon. So there we go.